It's easy for many to assume that public employees will retire with a hefty pension, one that would far exceed those that are retiring from the private sector. But one survey shows we may need to rethink that assumption. A new national survey of public service employees from Mission Square Research Institute reveals that the vast majority of public employees, 81%, are concerned that they will not have enough money that will last them throughout their retirement years. Additionally, 78% say they will not have enough money to live comfortably in retirement, and only 9% say that the benefits that are provided through their employer are very sufficient to meet their retirement needs. These findings could come despite the fact that most state and local employees do have access to defined benefit contribution accounts and defined benefit pension plans. Recent research from the Institute finds that many public employees are facing financial challenges today, with many struggling to pay for their day-to-day living expenses. Andre Robinson, Mission Square Retirement Chief Executive Officer and President, stated, "National Retirement Security Month is an important time to reflect on how we can strengthen the financial security of all Americans. These survey results clearly indicate that there is much work to be done in terms of shoring up financial security across the board. As a nation, we can and should do more to ensure that everyone is best positioned for a secure retirement." Other key findings of the survey include that workers say that higher wages, 78%, improve their retirement benefits, such as employer matches, 54%, and better retirement health care benefits, 50%, would help bolster their retirement confidence. Employees do indicate that more financial education and planning information would be very helpful, including guidance on just how much to save for retirement, said 65% of survey respondents, what benefits are needed at different career stages, 53%, and how defined contribution plans work, said 47%. This survey was conducted by Mission Square Research Institute in collaboration with Greenwald Research, and they reached a nationally representative sample of over 1,000 state and local government employees between September 13th and October 4th. Next, we're going to look at some reverse mortgage trends for our neighbors north of the border. In a surprising turn of events, Statistics Canada data shows that older households have taken on more mortgage debt in the second quarter of the year compared with the same period last year. Households aged 55 to 64 and households aged 65 and older saw a 6.5% and 6.4% increase in their mortgage debt, respectively. In comparison, the youngest households under the age of 35 in Canada were the only age cohort that consistently was reducing their balances since the end of 2022. Experts say there's a plausible reason for the figures. Higher housing costs are either pushing younger Canadians out of the market entirely or leading younger homeowners to sell, especially as their mortgages come up for renewal. Unlike the U.S., the majority of mortgages in Canada are variable or adjustable rate loans, though there are many fixed rate options. The typical mortgage term in Canada is shorter, usually 5 years or less, after which the mortgage needs to be renewed at the prevailing interest rate. That data is just a reflection of the market, said mortgage broker Marcy Dean, president of the Mortgage Brokers Institute of British Columbia. However, she doesn't believe that older Canadians are buying more to drive up the increase in their mortgage debt either, for similar reasons. Instead, a greater number of older homeowners have been tapping into their home equity to free up cash, said Dean. The most recent data from the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, that is the federal government agency that regulates banks in Canada, found that insurance companies and trust and loan companies confirmed that mortgages, reverse mortgages that is, are on the rise in Canada, with more than $8.5 billion in outstanding debt at the end of August this year. And in other news, Fox Money reports that millions of older Americans are at risk of defaulting on student loan payments and may lose some of their Social Security benefits. Democratic lawmakers said this in a letter to President Joe Biden, urging the administration to take action. Democratic Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ron Wyden were among several lawmakers who wrote to President Joe Biden about the risk that student loan borrowers age 65 and older face when they default on payments. When borrowers are in collections on average, their Social Security benefits are estimated to be reduced by $2,500 annually, said the lawmakers in the letter. This can be a devastating blow to those who rely solely on Social Security as their primary source of income. While no federal student loan forgiveness programs are specifically for senior citizens, Biden's Saving Valuable Education or SAVE plan could actually lower borrowers' monthly payments to zero and cut monthly costs in half, and also save those that are making payments of at least $1,000 annually. Now, this new IDR plan was announced after the Supreme Court struck down Biden's student loan forgiveness program. So over $136 billion in student loans have been forgiven to date for more than 3.7 million Americans under the Biden administration. Beginning in February, borrowers with as few as 10 years of payments made who initially took out $12,000 or less for college had their remaining debts already zeroed out as long as they were enrolled in the federal government's SAVE plan. As of early January, as many as 6.9 million borrowers already had enrolled in the SAVE plan, with more than 3.5 million receiving at least $130 billion in student loan relief. Student loan payments have also hindered some Americans from building up their retirement savings, especially for those that have higher salaries, that according to a report from the Employee Benefit Research Institute. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of HECMWorld Weekly. We do also have an audio edition, which you can find on Apple Music, Spotify, and on Podbean.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and go to HECMWorld.com and hit subscribe there. That way you can stay up to date on all of our latest breaking content. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to return next week for the nation's only weekly podcast, bringing reverse mortgage news to you, the mortgage professional.